A John Maxwell quote states that the single biggest way to impact an organization is to focus on leadership development. There is almost no limit to the potential of an organization that recruits good people, raises them up as leaders, and continually develops them. I agree with him, and that's exactly why I started this channel. Welcome to Drive-By Conversations, the best place for new and emerging leaders who want help navigating challenging conversations in the workplace. I'm Jaboria Scott, and in today's episode, I'll share 3 essential skills for new supervisors so that you'll know how to become a leader who is successful and gets results. Today, we're reviewing my take on must-have essential skills for new supervisors. And so that I don't hold you up, let's get right into the first tip. The first essential tip for new supervisors is developing team building skills. Encouraging teamwork and creating a cohesive team is an important skill for supervisors to cultivate. Team dynamics are heavily influenced by the person in the leadership role, so understanding the basics of what makes a great team is a good skill to have. Things like creating an inclusive and positive work environment where employees support each other starts with the supervisor making positive and meaningful connections. In John Maxwell's book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, law number 10 is called the Law of Connection. In this chapter, Maxwell explains that leaders can build strong teams by making meaningful connections with the people that they lead. And as the person in charge, it's your job to initiate and build the connection by demonstrating what that should look like. Promoting a cooperative teamwork environment will improve communication among employees, reduce conflict, and boost team morale. This will produce happy employees who are engaged and committed to the work and to the company. Click the like button if you agree that happy employees are more productive. The second essential skill for new supervisors is developing effective communication skills. It's common to hear dissatisfied employees complain about co-workers and leaders alike not being good communicators. When we take a look at what communication is really about at its core, it's simply about determining whether or not person A shared, expressed the thoughts and views or information in a way that is clearly understood by person B so that the message isn't lost and vice versa. This means assessing whether or not the message is conveyed in a way that is clear in order to increase the probability of the information being shared and received in the manner in which it was intended. It's important to remember that communication takes on so many different forms and has so many nuances that learning to communicate effectively is a skill that should not be taken for granted. And we each bring our own style and personality into the mix, so that's another added layer to that type of communication. And because this is true, it's easy for things to sometimes go wrong in the communication process. That's why building good communication habits and following specific methods for improving communication are essential to an emerging leader's success. As a supervisor, it's important for you to set clear, well-defined expectations at the outset. Communicate often and keep it simple. Type "keep it simple" in the comments if you know that when it comes to good communication, sometimes less is definitely more. The third essential skill for new supervisors is to listen and learn. If there's one top tip that I would give a new and emerging leader, it would be to make it your personal mission to learn everything you can and listen twice as much as you speak. Listening is a powerful skill to master and not as easy as we think. That's because most of us listen to respond instead of listening to understand, while acknowledging the thoughts and feelings of others whether we agree with them or not. This can be challenging because effective listening requires self-control. An important part of effective listening is ensuring that the other person feels heard. When you give subtle cues that you're attentive and engaged in hearing what the other person is saying, that person makes a positive mental and emotional connection with you. This is centered on the fact that what was most important was how the interaction made that person feel. This is why listening is an important part of the communication process. In his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie told a story of talking to a florist at a dinner party. During the conversation with her, Dale mostly listened while the florist did almost all of the talking. When the party was over, the woman told the host that Dale Carnegie was one of the best conversationalists that she had ever talked to. Dale got praise for being mostly silent and listening because the florist felt engaged and she also felt heard. Be sure to watch my video called 3 Communication Secrets of Great Leaders, where I go into more detail on this particular tip. I'll leave the link in the description box below. Learning as much about effective leadership will also assist you to move into positions with more authority. This means that you should begin the process of leadership development in order to stretch yourself beyond the basics of daily management functions. When American entrepreneur and motivational speaker Jim Rohn was asked about one of the keys to success, his response was that the key is to become an above average person. Personal leadership development is making a personal, internal assessment of who you are as a leader and determining what kinds of things you would need to learn to make an internal transformation into becoming a better leader. Learning about things like performance management, change management, and emotional intelligence are just a few examples of the things that are part of the knowledge base of effective leaders. The real question is, are you willing to put in the work that it takes to set yourself apart and become a great leader? There's an African proverb that states, "No person is born great. Great people become great when others are sleeping." Remember that in all of this, it will take time. In Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, law number 3 is called the law of process. In chapter 3, Maxwell explains that leadership development is something that happens over time and not in a single day. Being a great leader is a long-term commitment of showing up and doing the work every day. A key part of that is consistent, intentional focus on continued professional development. Your commitment to personal and professional development will distinguish you as a future leader. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and you want a few more essential skills for new managers, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell, because in my next companion video, I'm going to share 3 key tips on what it takes to succeed as a manager and gain the leadership advantage. As always, have a great week, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.